From floating in zero gravity to NASA trying to hire Tom Hanks, these are the most shocking facts about the movie Apollo 13. Most space movies use wires to fake weightlessness, but Ron Howard wanted the real thing. He got permission to use NASA's famous Vomit Comet, a plane that creates short periods of true zero gravity.
Oh, beautiful spiral. Well, sorry about the time.
Each zero gravity moment lasted around 23 seconds. That meant the cast and crew had to film tiny pieces of scenes again and again. And they didn't do this a few times, they did it over 600 times. Tom Hanks, Kevin Bacon, and Bill Paxton threw up so often that buckets were basically part of the set. When you see them floating in the movie, that's not acting. Their faces, their movements, their sickness, it was all real.
Yeah, don't worry, guys. I'm on top of it.
The movie didn't build the comfortable version of the spacecraft. They made it exactly like the real Apollo lunar module, tiny and suffocating. There was barely room to move. The lights made the air even hotter. And since the actors were packed shoulder to shoulder, they could hardly breathe. Bill Paxton sometimes begged for breaks because he felt trapped. Tom Hanks and Kevin Bacon also struggled, especially during long scenes. But the director refused to make anything bigger. He wanted the actors to feel the same stress the real astronauts felt. Some of the frustrated lines, angry expressions, and tense moments you see on screen weren't written in the script. They were real reactions to being stuck in a metal box. Tom Hanks didn't just want to look like Jim Lovell. He wanted to act exactly like him. He spent hours learning how every switch, button, and checklist worked. He repeated emergency procedures like they were real drills. He whispered commands to himself between scenes. He even learned how to run long technical lines without messing up. Ron Howard eventually said Hanks could probably run a simulator alone. Even Jim Lovell himself said Hanks copied his movements and speaking style perfectly. By the end of the filming, crew members joked that if NASA needed a backup astronaut, Tom Hanks was ready.
Hank actually could probably fly the space shuttle at this point if he wanted to, because he really was a space freak and knew a lot about it.
You'd think a big movie like Apollo 13 would have its script finished early, but not this one. New lines were handed out every day. Sometimes actors got new dialogue only a few hours or minutes before filming. This made things stressful, especially because many lines were full of technical terms that were hard to memorize. Tom Hanks wasn't bothered by this. He called it organized chaos. Kevin Bacon, on the other hand, admitted it made him anxious. He had to learn complicated phrases at top speed.
It goes into trying to figure out how to throw astronaut terminology around. That's not the way my brain sort of works.
But this constant rewriting helped the movie feel fast, tense, and alive, just like the real mission. Gary Sinise played Ken Mattingly, the astronaut who stayed on Earth and helped solve the mission's problems. To get the role right, Sinise trained in NASA simulators for weeks. He practiced power-up steps over and over until he could perform them without thinking.
Floodlights to fixed.
Okay, bring up the guidance.
Some scenes show him flipping switches perfectly for long stretches without a mistake. Those weren't rehearsed dozens of times. He could actually do them. Real astronauts who visited the set watched Sinise perform and said he was amazingly accurate. He made the technical scenes feel real instead of just acting. To film the ocean landing, the team didn't use a tank or a studio set. They went into the real Pacific Ocean with real Navy helicopters and ships. The capsule set floated on waves, rocking hard from side to side. At one point, it almost flipped over. And when the actors tried to get out, the hatch jammed, trapping them inside. Tom Hanks later admitted he was genuinely scared during the shoot. He said he feared drowning more in that moment than in any other movie scene he had ever filmed. That fear you see on screen? Completely real. The beeps, static, and radio cracks you hear in the movie aren't random noises. The sound team used real recordings from actual Apollo missions. They even copied the way the audio sometimes cut out and became fuzzy.
Say again, please. Houston, we've had a problem.
This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we have a problem.
Ron Howard didn't want clean, perfect sound. He wanted the audience to feel the same nervous moments that NASA and the astronauts felt. When the sound goes quiet or fuzzy, that's meant to remind you how risky the communication really was. This is why the movie feels so intense.
From this moment on, we are improvising a new mission.
Sorry, we'll get somebody to look at that. I'll get the bulb around.
Ed Harris played Gene Kranz, the flight director known for his leadership and discipline. But Harris didn't switch off when filming stopped. He kept his headset on during lunch. He walked around the set giving orders like a real mission leader. He made sure the control room screens were connected to real data so he could react to actual numbers. When he banged the desk or shouted commands, he wasn't acting. He got so deep into the character that everything he did felt natural. This created tension on set, but it also made his performance unforgettable. The man Tom Hanks plays, Jim Lovell, appears in the movie too. He plays the Navy captain who greets the astronauts after splashdown. It's a perfect full circle moment. The real commander welcomes his movie double home.
And as for me, the 7 extraordinary days of Apollo 13 were my last in space. I watched other men.
Lovell joked that the filming made him seasick, even though the real recovery never bothered him. He said the movie version felt, strangely, more stressful. When Ron Howard first approached NASA, they were worried. They thought a movie about Apollo 13 would make them look bad because the mission didn't land on the moon. But Howard explained that the movie wasn't about failure. It was about teamwork, intelligence, and courage. Eventually, NASA agreed to help, and once they did, they gave the filmmakers access to real simulators, rooms, and equipment. Ironically, the movie ended up improving NASA's reputation. It inspired interest in space again, and brought huge crowds to NASA visitor centers. The simple line, "Houston, we have a problem," almost got removed. Writers thought it sounded too short and dramatic. They considered using the longer, more technical, real-life version. But test audiences reacted strongly when they heard the shorter line, and the filmmakers kept it. Today, it's one of the most famous movie lines ever uttered.
Okay, Houston, we've had a problem here. Say again, please.
It became bigger than the film itself, and even bigger than the real quote. Subscribe if you crave even wilder, jaw-dropping facts about the most extreme movies.